All right, lovely. Can we see that? Yeah. Perfect, thank you. Right, so for anybody that doesn't know then, yeah, I'm Cheryl Goodman. I'm Head of Community and Wellbeing at Burnley Leisure and Culture, and I'm also a Burnley Locality Lead for Together an Active Future. And today, like Darren said, I've come to just speak a little bit about hashtag Outdoor Town, what that is and where it's come from. So hashtag Outdoor Town for us is part of our Together an Active Future work streams. So Together an Active Future is the Sport England local delivery pilots, what we're now place partners. So Outdoor Town is one of our work streams. We've also got strengthening the network there and positive climate action through physical activity. So those are our main work streams. They interlink and they overlap an awful lot, but those are the three things that we sort of prioritise within Burnley. It began in just 2019, so it was just before pandemic. So it's been going for sort of quite a bit of time now. The place, so Burnley, yeah, for us, we have nearly 95,000 residents. The median age is around 39 years old, and we've got quite a diverse population as well. We're also ranked as 11th most deprived locality in England. So obviously there's challenges that come with that. We've spent an awful lot of time going over the wording and how to sort of get across what hashtag Outdoor Town is. So I've put this on here. This is our one page. So I'm just going to go through this because we've, like I say, we've spent so much time trying to sort of nail it down. So what it is so hashtag Outdoor Town is a shared vision and an identity that the Borough of Burnley have adopted. It offers us a strategic direction, and it's a movement that's based on collaboratively promoting the strength of the town. It creates a culture that prioritises connecting communities to the outdoors. So that's a very, that's what it is in essence. Why? So creating an identity that is inclusive. So it widens the possibilities to addressing physical inactivity, health, wellbeing, culture, education, climate action, and much, much more. So it's based on a strength and place-based approach. So yes, like I mentioned, we are 11th, ranked as 11th in terms of deprivation, but what we've done is sort of turn that over and just gone, in terms of positivity, what have we got that's great? So it's a place-based and it's a strength-based approach. So what we've got is a lot of great green space, green and blue. We've got sort of countryside surrounding us. We've got canal towpaths. We've got green spaces, and we've got sort of parks as well. So we've got an awful lot going for us. So it helps us to provide leadership across important strategic cross-cutting themes that encourage collaboration. So in terms of outdoor time, it's because it's quite neutral, it's outdoor space. Nobody owns it, and it just gives us that sort of neutral ground and a rallying point really for people to collaborate on. So there you go. It opens doors to the whole time, promotes activity, inclusivity, and behaviour change, and it'll help us to prepare the place and make sure that being active is actually the easy option for people, and that physical activity is just flowing throughout the town. That's the why. So there are just a few of the key words that help capture what outdoor town is to us. And how. So yeah, preparing the place. So again, like I said, it's the common purpose. It's that neutral common purpose that sort of helps partners come together and work together. And we're going to produce our 10-year vision. So the group will be responsible for delivering on the action points that are going to sit behind that. And the vision allows organisations, activities, initiatives to form healthy, developmental and sustainable self-led relationship with the outdoors. So there we are. That is what Outdoor Town is. The vision document, as I say, we've got a 10-year vision document that we're just currently working on and just finalising. The vision is that Burnley will be a place where the choice to be active is easy, attractive and enjoyable. We've got 3 objectives that are going to fall underneath that, and then, as I say, action plans again underneath. So objective 1 is to grow and nurture collaboration, work with and inspire innovative place-based partnerships. Objective 2 is to increase national visibility of the hashtag Outdoor Town movement, seeking to influence integrated place and wellbeing policy at a strategic level. And then objective 3 is to create community-led, neighbourhood-based green space initiatives which bring inward investment and accessible opportunities to become healthier and happier. And as you can see on this slide, I've just added a few little bits that we're currently sort of already working on. So that's Beat the Street. We've done it twice. It's been fantastic each time in terms of sort of a collaborative initiative. We've got Park Play and Play Streets. We've got Park Yoga. Obviously, we have things like Park Run already. We have our cultural framework, which again comes from a different angle. The tree planting, the Big Burnley Walk. And as Darren mentioned, we had our Nature Festival yesterday, and that's an annual sort of wellbeing event. We hold it in autumn to sort of encourage people to sort of stay out, you know, even though it's getting to autumn, there are loads of fun stuff that we can do. So we had over 30 different organisations that came and did things. Oh, it was varied from sort of like river dipping, we had park play there, we had sort of crown making, we had pumpkin carving, we had puddle jumping, you know, we had guided walks through the woods. There was all sorts going on, and all of our network and partners came along and just delivered that with us in partnership. And then obviously thousands of residents came along and participated, which was wonderful, and we had a great day for it as well. So far, how we've evaluated the work. So as part of TAF, yeah, we have had some of this evaluated already. The aim of the evaluation was to explore the enablers. Various data collection has happened. We've had interviews with stakeholders. We've done numerous ripple effect mapping sessions. We've had a social network mapping exercise done, and there's been publicly available data that's been extracted for this as well. The key impacts. So there has been found changes to the system. The key enablers of this system change have been identified. A network has been developed. There has been increases in physical activity. There's been quite an upturn in perceived opportunities for physical activity, an improvement to health, and substantial investment into physical activity across the town. So just touching on these just briefly, these are the things that were sort of identified. So in terms of leadership, through, as I said, the data that's being collected, there has been a shift towards distributed leadership. And I do believe that the outdoor town, and as I say, the sort of non-threatening and, well, the golden thread almost that runs throughout the town has allowed that. So people are sort of on board. They can see how it aligns with their priorities, and they're taking a little bit of ownership to help us move this forward. And I do believe that's where the distributed leadership has come from. The physical environment, yeah. So again, like I say, with it being a place-based and a strength-based approach, we've been making great use of all of the wonderful space that we already have. Partners have come and sort of collaborated on that as well. More partnerships, yeah. So the Active Burnley Forum has been key to this. This was initially back in 2021, the Beat the Street steering group that we had. So we brought it to the town as a COVID recovery mechanism. Partners came together, you know, district council, health partners, education, and we delivered Beat the Street. And everybody sort of said, right, what's next? And we sort of developed the Active Burnley Forum to move forward. And since that, it's just grown and grown. Yeah, we've got sort of 40 different organisational partners, and we meet biannually, and we just have a network meeting. I don't know if anybody's been, but it's really informal. We can just come and we sort of provide a bit of refreshments. People have the time to sort of chat and talk. But then people have now come to us and said, could we share our stuff? So we had at the last Active Burnley Forum last week, we had British Cycling that came and sort of talked about all the work they're doing, and Lancashire Wildlife Trust as well came. So people are sort of really seeing it as a great platform to share what they're doing and gather sort of partners. So it's really developed well for us. A good example of the system change that we have is with one of our primary care networks. Again, back in maybe like 2022, through Together an Active Future, we seconded 2 of the health and wellbeing coaches out of primary care network and into TAF, and they worked 1 day a week for us, and we paid for their time. And after around sort of 6 months, the operational lead for the primary care network decided that actually she valued the work that we were all doing together so much that she didn't want there to be a separation of that. So said that she didn't want there to be any money transfer. She just wanted them to sort of work with us and other organisations in the town on, you know, sort of the work we were doing with Together an Active Future. And this is where part yoga came from. This is where the moving medicine, lunchtime learning for GPs has come from, and the adapted sort of cycling, inclusive sport. So we've been doing some really great work together. And just recently, one of the PCN operational lead was recruiting for a new health and wellbeing coach and said, can we sit down and can we talk about what we want in this person, and sort of, wanted more input into that, which I thought was really, really impactful. So the key enablers that have been identified, so are the relationship building, so highlighting the importance of establishing trust and collaboration. And again, I do believe that it's been that golden thread that I keep sort of referring to, that's really allowed people to get hold of something, that's done that. Passionate individuals, so finding those people that are sort of enthusiastic and that want to sort of see change, that want to move things forward, and just sort of really embracing their enthusiasm. The supportive leadership, again, offering capacity to help develop new partnerships. So that's us and all other partners as well. And then the shared goals, like I say, the outdoor town has been that for us. I just put this in. This was done for us. This is our network map. So actually, it shows really that it's not. We don't have a centre of it. Everybody is sort of quite well connected. The larger dots are the people that have a little bit more influence or have a little bit more connection with other people, but it's really widely spread across Burnley. And the outskirts people are potentially our new people that are sort of coming on board. And as they sort of connect with more people through things like the Active Burnley Forum, I would expect that they will connect in as well. So that's been really good to sort of have done. And then in summary, so since our TAF work began, we've seen these positive trends in Burnley. So the system changes, which place physical activity as a priority. We have obviously our 10-year vision, which is going to replace our sport and physical activity strategy for the town. So that's a really good impact for us. Also, we have within our ICB local priorities, outdoor town, #outdoor town, and physical activity are a priority for our place. And that was done. We didn't do that. So our colleagues at the ICB have sort of prioritised that for us in the town. The development of a network. So yeah, like I said, Active Burnley Forum has done that. The shared vision is #outdoor town that's brought people together. We can now see that there are greater levels of physical activity. It shows, and the greater opportunities. That is quite an upturn. I can't remember the percentages, but there's been quite an increase in what people perceive opportunities to be locally for them. A reduced prevalence of coronary heart disease and obesity, and we have had now more than £500,000 investment into Burnley to get people more active. And I'll just say on that is literally what I know about, and pretty much just through our organisation and partner organisations. I imagine that there's been an awful lot more. For example, I do know that through Burnley Youth Theatre, they applied for some creative outdoor space. So they got some funding to develop an outdoor space for outdoor theatre, which links into this. So yeah, I'd imagine that there's an awful lot more as well. But yeah, so it's all very positive. And that is the end of my slideshow. So I'm happy to answer any questions that anybody might have.
I'll jump in, Cheryl. I've got a question. Just in terms of the outdoor town concept, in terms of the hashtag and all that sort of stuff. I mean, sounds like there's a lot of marketing kind of towards the movement, and I guess just a question how you've used that to really build up that momentum and that network map, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really good question. So as part of the outdoor town work and the TAF work, we created a campaign group. So this sits separately, and it's mainly sort of Burnley Leisure and Culture employees and Burnley Borough Council employees. And we've created sort of a group and allocated a funding pot to sort of raise the awareness of #outdoor town. So we've created now a website, which we said at the start, we said we weren't going to do. But then as things developed, it seemed to make sense that we did. So we now, which you can find, it's outdoortown.uk. There is no core, I'm not sure why, but outdoortownuk.uk, and it's got sections. There's an events calendar, So actually everything our partners are delivering and ourselves that's outdoors is in this sort of calendar. We started with a year in the outdoors calendar just to sort of see how it went, and it went really well. So there are things like health walks, there are things like gardening groups, you know, there's all sorts going on that people can get involved in. So it was just us going, we know about this thing, here's how you find out. So rather than trying to create a directory, we've almost gone, you know, here are some things that you could find out about. And then actually it then breaks down into sort of places and spaces, walking, cycling, running. I can't remember what else is on there now, but green activities. You know, so there's all sorts that actually people can find out about from there as well. But that's we did that. We've done a sort of a social media account, which gives those live updates for people. It's like, you know, don't forget this thing's happening, like the Nature Festival yesterday, for example. That's gone crazy. You know, so many people have sort of, you know, sharing it, liking it, commenting on it, tagging their friends. But then we're looking at some bigger projects as well. So we're looking at now, you know, almost like some art installations and something that will really bring our culture work, you know, into the outdoors as well, places that people can go, trails. We're going to sort of like look to refresh these sculpture trails that we've got in the various parks. And yes, the campaign group are working on projects with partners that's just going to really help raise the awareness of it. But like I say, it's just, you know, hashtag outdoor town is just the umbrella. It just gives us a little bit of focus and direction.
Well, thank you. Any other? I'm going to ask you another question, just in terms of how you got schools on board. So obviously, in terms of that 10-year kind of vision,
Yeah.
and you know, the next generation of people, you
Yeah.
know, that are going to be using our outdoor spaces. I mean, what's your plans around that, really?
Yeah, another good question. So for me, Beat the Street had a real impact there. So we've now done two rounds of Beat the Street, and as Tina knows, we've done it a little bit differently than how it's always perhaps been done, where it wasn't just a 6-week game and great, everyone's active for 6 weeks and off you go. It was definitely more of a tool, an engagement tool for us, for our residents, but also a piece of work that we could all work on sort of collaboratively and sort of build relationships by working together and have that sort of same interest and goal, really. So yeah, schools. So Beat the Street, we did. We engaged all the families, all the schools within Beat the Street. You know, they sort of really enjoyed it. And then there was the sort of the sustainable element to that. We did it again last year, but with a little bit of a different focus. For us, what we did is we used the points that were collected through Beat the Streets and turned them into trees to be planted. So the schools collected points, and then we said, right, okay, so the points you've earned, create this many trees, and then we, with sort of the local council, identified a new micro woodland in each of the wards of Burnley. So 15 wards, 15 new micro woodlands, and we invited everybody that had earned the points, including schools, to come back out and start planting the trees to help look after those spaces. You know, they're going to, I think the plaques are going in soon. We've got some plaques going in to say these are the people that earn these trees, these are the types of trees, this is, you know, why it's good for your environment. And they're hopefully near enough schools, near enough homes that people will continually help us sort of like use the space and look after the space. Something that I didn't mention actually as well is that we've got another sort of project that's sort of running parallel to this, and that's our Climate Action Fund project. So we were successful in gaining around £400,000 from National Lottery for a project around climate action, but linked to physical activity. Essentially Beat the Street and also tree planting. So that's part of this. So we're going to be doing more rounds of Beat the Street with more tree planting. And then we've also now got a green activities coordinator. So he's based within the council's green space team. And he's a community gardener, a mobile gardener, you know, a green activities coordinator, whatever you want to call him. But he's got his own electric van that's all branded up. Hashtag outdoor town, you can't miss it. It's covered. So it's another great campaign piece. And he drives around to these different sites in the different areas of Burnley, sort of like, you can see his schedule. We sort of print that for and put it on notice boards. It's on the Outdoor Town website, and you can come along and you can learn some new skills, and you can help look after your local space, and you can sort of meet new people. But also, again, linked to schools, he's called Henry. What Henry is doing is he's going into schools, delivering in curriculum time, some green activities with the kids. We then do an offer for after school, so the parents come along as well, and the parents and the kids do these green activity sessions, and then we move it into the park next time, so that it's like, we know you, do you want to come and sort of like into the green space, and then the families are sort of exploring, and they feel like they've got permission to perhaps sort of, you know, come a little bit further away from home as well. Yeah, you just put something in the chat, Tina.
Sorry, didn't opening school facilities have a focus on outdoor as well?
They did, yeah. So now as well, yeah, Andy and his opening school facilities has encouraged the schools to have a look at, an outdoor with an outdoor focus, so allocating money to schools that might be looking at some form of forest school or outdoor learning, and then linking that into partners across the town that might be able to support on that as well. Yeah.
Well, Laura, have you just put something in? I can't see it. Do you want to come on?
Yeah, I'll come on briefly. Sorry, Cheryl, I missed the start of your presentation. IT problems on a Monday morning or afternoon, and I do have to leave early. But yeah, just really, I was going to ask you about kind of your links with the council and the parks team, and then you came in and you mentioned around the climate. Interested to find out more. Again, in the chat, I've just put there that for the first year this year, we actually in Blackpool delivered an Eco Fest. And again, I think there was elements and it was a good start, but it kind of, I guess, you know, you want it to be bigger, better the following year, and just to make sure that that physical activity, moving more, is embedded. We host that just in, you know, in Stanley Park, which is our kind of, you know, our main park, but then at the same time we've done a lot of the planting trees, so you know, I think it would just be nice to have that conversation to see what some of your learning's been.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that'd be really interesting. Yeah, I'd be interested in that, Laura. Thank you. Yeah, I think we also were approached from our council this time because I think it was Climate Action Week, so they wanted to come and support the Nature Festival yesterday and sort of share with people, you know, some of the work that's happening around climate action locally. Another impact for me actually was our council leader. He sort of came yesterday to the Nature Festival and hosted a walk and talk, which was rather nice. So rather than your normal meet your leader or whatever they normally sort of do, he actually was walking around and people could come for a walk with him. So in terms of physical activity and impact, I quite liked that.
Brilliant, fantastic. Any other questions from anybody around the? Sorry, Carol, you've got your hand up.
I just come in. That sounds brilliant, Cheryl. I was just your climate action project. Who did you say funded it?
National Lottery. So it was through National Lottery, and it was the climate action focus.
And is that because I work for a local authority? So do you who do you work for? Is it like a charitable trust?
Yeah, Leisure Trust. So we applied for we did the application as the Leisure Trust, and then we pay, and well, we've got a sort of a service level agreement with the council who deliver most of the work, and then we sort of manage the project as the Leisure Trust.
And is it for sort of 3-4 years?
It's 4 years, it's 4 years. So we're a year in now. And actually what's been really interesting as well, Carol, is the evaluation that we've done. So as I was saying before, with this website we've got, that's actually now part of our evaluation. So sort of Henry puts his blogs in there. So we've got like a recorded diary of sort of where he's been, what he's done, what the impacts are. So it's all sort of actually, fits quite nicely together.
Yeah, I love the look of the website. That looks brilliant.
Yeah, it's great.
I'm just sending it to our Why Moving More developers saying, look at this.
Yeah. Like I
brilliant.
say, it's just friendly and easy, and I think it's just like I said before, the rallying point where people just go, it's a nice thing. We all, nobody owns our outdoors, we all do, and I feel like that for us has been, you know, sort of the point of the movement really.
No, brilliant, good job.
Thanks.
Brilliant, great stuff. I mean, there's a couple of comments in the chat, Cheryl, about finding a bit more about the EcoFest with all. So it sounds like there's perhaps a separate conversation around some of the learning. And I know, without stealing your thunder, you are at the Curiosity Conference, aren't you, on Wednesday, trying to get up more people come and listen to you on Wednesday as well. So I think that'd be really useful to a bit more kind of in-depth stuff as well, and localized work that could happen. So yeah, I'm happy to kind of help coordinate some of that as well. Brilliant. Any other questions for Cheryl? No, brilliant. Adrian just wanted me to mention around just checking whether people have got the newsletter from the last session and how they feel that was. Is it useful? Is it something that you'd like to see continue? It was done by Microsoft Sway. I don't know too much about it, but it looks a good little tool to use just to summarize the meeting and the next steps and things like that. If anybody's got any feedback around that, please feel to send that back to myself or Adrian or even Claire, who's been coordinating that newsletter. But we will continue to do it unless people just tell us, no, don't bother, it's not worth it. But yeah, we'll continue to do that. The next session is in November. We've got John Hoxley coming along from the Chief Ledger Officers Association, who's going to talk to us about a paper, the Active Wellbeing Service paper. So that will be in the next session in November. I'll drop a bit of a link into the chat box that gives you some kind of pre-understanding and reading about that if you've not seen that already. Other than that, I think there's nothing else. Anybody get any other business? Cheryl?
Sorry, yeah, I was just going to say actually about the Curiosity Conference, but just to say, I am, if anybody is coming, obviously it's at Witton Park, you can still register. I think I've got a roundtable discussion in the morning, just meaning that actually I'll share some of what we've been doing. Again, it'll be slightly different than this, but it's about sort of other people inputting into that. So if you've got anything that you could share with me as well, that's what it's all about. I am going to be touching on Limitless Town, which is still in Burnley, but it's all around British Cycling Limitless programme. So that's inclusive cycling. So it's about sort of cycling sessions, but also sort of inclusive routes and partnerships. And we've got a new community developer that's working on cycling in the town as well. So it's going to be slightly different than this. So don't feel like you can't come and see me. Thank you very much.
Brilliant. Thanks, Cheryl. Really looking forward to Wednesday. Should be a really good day at Witton Park. Anybody else? Any other business? Before you're going to get 28 minutes back of your lunch. Michael, you can go and get eating then. No, any more? No, bro. Well, we'll send the newsletter out. We'll send the next session, diary invite and introduction for November. Other than that, enjoy half term next week for those that are on half term, and we'll see you in November. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you later, everyone.
Bye.